Morning, Tom. You look like you just woke up. Did you sleep well?
Morning, Tina. Honestly, I am still a bit sleepy. I am not a morning person at all.
I can tell. But today, let's talk about how to describe our morning routine in English. It is the perfect way to start practicing.
That sounds useful. I usually just say I wake up and I drink coffee. Is that enough?
That is a great start, but we can make it more natural. For example, instead of just I wake up, you can say I usually wake up at 7 o'clock.
I usually wake up at 7 o'clock. Okay, that is easy. What about getting ready?
You can say after I wake up, I make my bed and then I brush my teeth. It's all about the order of things.
I make my bed and then I brush my teeth. Do you always have a big breakfast?
Sometimes, but usually I just say, I have a quick breakfast and a cup of coffee before I head out. Head out is a great phrase for leaving the house.
Head out. I like that. That sounds very native. So, I have breakfast and then I head out to work.
Exactly! You are already building sentences. Try putting it together, Tom. What is your typical morning?
Okay, let me try. I usually wake up at 7. I make my bed, brush my teeth, have a coffee, and then I head out to work.
Perfect! See? You just described your entire morning routine in natural, easy English. So, Tom, you have headed out. Now you are on your way. How do you describe that part of your day?
Usually, I take the train or I drive. Should I just say I go to work?
You can, but let's make it sound more like a local. You can say, I have a long commute, or I usually catch the train to work.
I have a long commute. I like that word, commute. It sounds very professional. What if there is a lot of traffic?
That is a very common topic. You can say, the traffic is terrible today, or I got stuck in traffic for an hour.
I got stuck in traffic. I have definitely said that to myself, just not in English. What about when you arrive?
When you get to your office or workplace, you can say, I clock in at 9, or I finally made it to the office.
I clock in at 9. I use that phrase. It means you start your official work time, right?
Exactly. And if you are early, you can say, I got here a bit early to grab a coffee.
I got here a bit early. That sounds natural. So, I had a long commute. I got stuck in traffic, but I clocked in right at 9.
You are doing great. See how much more descriptive you sound now? You're not just saying, I go to work anymore.
It feels much better. It's like I'm telling a story about my day instead of just listing facts.
You've made it to the office, you've clocked in, and now the real work begins. How do you describe what you do during the morning?
Well, usually I have a lot of emails. How do I say that without sounding bored?
You can say, I start my day by checking my emails, or I have a lot on my plate this morning.
I have a lot on my plate. I've heard that before. It means I have a lot of tasks to finish, right?
Exactly. It's a very common American idiom. You could also say, I'm tied up in meetings all morning.
I'm tied up. That means I am busy and cannot talk, correct?
Spot on. It sounds much more professional than just saying I am busy. What about taking a break?
I usually take a quick break for a snack. Can I say, I'm gonna grab a quick bite?
Grab a quick bite is perfect. It's what everyone says when they go get a snack or lunch.
So, I have a lot on my plate, so I'm tied up in meetings, but I'll grab a quick bite at noon.
Okay, the morning is done. It's finally time for lunch. Do you usually eat at your desk or do you go out?
I usually go out with my coworkers. It's the best part of the day because we actually get to chat.
That's a great chance to practice your social English. When you invite someone, you can say, Are you heading to lunch, or do you want to grab lunch together?
Do you want to grab lunch together? That is super simple and friendly. What if I want to ask them what they are eating?
You can just ask, what are you having? Or, that looks good. Where did you get that from?
Where did you get that from? I love that. It's a great way to start a conversation about food. What if we are just talking about our work?
You can say, how is your day going so far? Or, do you have big plans for the weekend? It keeps things light and positive.
Do you have big plans for the weekend? That is a classic question. I use it, but I'm always nervous about the answer.
Don't be. Just listen, nod, and say, that sounds like fun. Or, oh, nice.
That sounds like fun. Simple, positive, and it keeps the conversation flowing. I can do that.
See? Lunch is not just about eating. It's about building relationships. You are doing a fantastic job, Tom.
The afternoon can be tough, Tom. After lunch, do you ever get that feeling where you just want to take a nap?
Definitely. Especially around 2 or 3 p.m. It's like my energy just disappears. Is there a way to describe that?
We call that the afternoon slump. You can say, I'm hitting the afternoon slump, or I need a coffee to get through the rest of the day.
We call that the afternoon slump. You can say, I'm hitting the afternoon slump, or I need a coffee to get through the rest of the day.
I'm hitting the afternoon slump. That is a perfect phrase. It sounds so relatable. What if I have to finish a project by the end of the day?
You can say, I'm working to meet a deadline, or I'm trying to wrap things up before 5.
Wrap things up. That means to finish something, right?
Exactly. It's a very common way to say you are finishing your tasks. You could also say, I have to get this finished by the end of the day.
I'm trying to wrap things up before 5. It sounds so much better than I am finishing my work.
It really does. It shows you have a plan. How do you feel when you finally finish that last task?
Honestly, I feel a huge relief. I usually tell my desk neighbor, finally, I'm done.
That is perfect. Sometimes the simplest sentences are the most natural ones.
Hitting the afternoon slump and wrapping things up, my afternoon at work is officially covered. Great work on surviving the afternoon, Tom. Now that the clock is hit 5, you're officially off the clock. What's the first thing you say when you leave?
I usually say goodbye to everyone. Is there a more natural way to do that?
Sure. You can say, have a good night, or see you tomorrow. If you're in a rush, a simple, I'm heading out, see you later, works perfectly.
I'm heading out, see you later. That sounds very friendly. What about if I have to stop at the store on the way home?
That's when you use the word errands. You can say, I need to run a few errands on my way home.
Run errands. I've heard that, but I wasn't sure if it was just for grocery shopping.
It covers everything: the bank, the post office, or picking up laundry. It's a great catch-all term. You could say, I have to pick up a few things, or I have to swing by the pharmacy.
Swing by. I like that. It sounds casual and quick. Like, I need to swing by the store before I get home.
Exactly. You are turning your commute into a productive time. And what about when you finally walk through your front door?
That's the best part. I usually say, I'm home, or I'm finally back.
Perfect. It's the small things, saying, I'm heading out and I need to run some errands, that make your day sound so much more like a native speaker's vibe.
I'm heading out, run errands, and swing by. My commute home just got a lot more interesting.
You've made it home, Tom. You've survived the traffic, the work, and the errands. Now it's time to relax. What does your evening look like?
Honestly, I'm usually exhausted. I like to change into comfortable clothes and just sit on the couch.
That sounds lovely. In English, we often say, I'm going to change into something more comfortable, or I'm going to kick back and relax.
Kick back and relax. That's a great phrase. It really captures that feeling of doing nothing after a long day.
It really does. And what about those evening chores? The dishes, laundry, or tidying up?
Yeah, those are unavoidable. I usually say I have to clean the house, but that sounds a bit like a big project.
You can say, I need to tidy up a bit, or I have to get a few chores done around the house. It sounds less overwhelming.
Tidy up. That's much better. It sounds like I'm just putting things in order, not doing a deep clean.
Exactly. And if you are cooking, you can say, I'm just whipping up something quick for dinner.
Whipping up. That implies something fast and easy, right?
Spot on. So instead of saying, I am cooking dinner, you can say, I'm just whipping up something simple for dinner.
I love that. It makes my evening routine sound so much more relaxed and natural.
That's the goal, Tom. You're not just living your day, you're narrating it in English. Now that the chores are done, Tom, it is officially me time. What do you like to do to wind down?
I usually watch some TV, or sometimes I read a book. How do I say I am doing that in a more natural way?
You could say, I'm just going to catch up on my favorite show, or I'm going to spend the evening curled up with a good book.
Curled up with a book. That sounds so cozy. I love that imagery. What about if I am just scrolling through my phone?
You can say, I'm just browsing social media, or I'm catching up on the news. Or if you are being lazy, you can say, I'm just vegging out on the couch.
Vegging out? That's a funny one. Does that mean being a vegetable?
Exactly. It means sitting and doing very little, like watching TV or just relaxing deeply. It's very informal, but very common.
I will definitely use that. I've had a long day, so I'm just going to veg out for a while.
That is perfect. And if you are calling a friend, you can say, I'm just checking in, or I wanted to catch up.
Catching up seems to be my favorite phrase today. It covers everything from work meetings to talking with friends.
It's a very versatile phrase. So whether you are vegging out or curled up with a book, you are enjoying your evening the right way.
It feels great to be able to talk about my hobbies and how I relax. It makes my day feel complete.
The day is coming to a close, Tom. You're done with your hobbies and it's getting late. What's the last part of your routine?
Well, I usually have to prepare for the next day. I pack my bag or lay out my clothes. How do I describe that?
That's a great habit. You can say, I'm getting everything ready for tomorrow, or I'm just prepping for the next day.
Prepping for the next day. That sounds very organized. And then I have my night routine. Washing my face, brushing my teeth.
You can simply say, I'm going to get ready for bed, or I'm winding down for the night.
Winding down. I like that. It implies I'm slowing my body and mind down, right?
Exactly. It's that transition from being active to being sleepy. And if you're a night owl, you might say, I'm a bit of a night owl, so I usually stay up late.
Night owl. I've heard that. And if I'm tired, I can say I'm beat or I'm tuckered out.
I'm beat is a classic. It's the perfect way to say you are exhausted after a long day.
So I'm winding down for the night, but I'm a bit of a night owl, so I might read for a while before I'm totally beat.
That is a perfect sentence, Tom. You've successfully narrated your entire evening flow.
It feels so natural to use these words. I feel like I'm really expressing my personality now, not just translating from my native language.
We made it, Tom. We started with your morning alarm and finished with you winding down for bed. How do you feel looking back at your whole day in English?
Honestly, I feel like I finally have a roadmap for my day. Before, I felt like I was searching for words, but now I have a whole set of expressions that sound natural and confident.
That's the English all day mindset.
let's do a quick final check of our favorite phrases from this journey. Are you ready?
Ready. Morning, I usually wake up at 7, and I'm heading out.
Commute and work. I have a long commute. I'm tied up in meetings, and I have a lot on my plate.
Lunch and afternoon. Do you want to grab lunch? And I'm hitting the afternoon slump.
Finishing up, I'm wrapping things up, and I need to run some errands.
Evening, I'm going to kick back and relax. I'm just whipping up some dinner. And I'm winding down for the night.
And don't forget the best one, I'm totally beat.
I use that one all the time now. It's funny how these small phrases change the way I feel about speaking. I don't feel like I'm studying English anymore. I feel like I'm just living my life in it.
That is the ultimate goal, Tom. When you stop translating and start feeling the rhythm of the language, you've mastered it.
Thank you so much, Tina. You made this so much easier than I thought it would be.
It was my pleasure, Tom. Keep practicing, keep talking, and most importantly, keep enjoying the process. See you next time.
See you next time.